Welcome to another Pick Six at 6. You know how we do here in the DOB. Thank you so much for everyone for showing the love. I put up on the community page just before we get started that we have hit 5,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel, and the engagement that I've been getting on this platform has been nothing but love. Same as Twitter, same as Instagram, same as on Facebook, but no, our goal here is the road to 10K, right? And we talk about getting 10K subscribers, and then we're going to run this huge giveaway. And you know how we do in the DOB. So again, I just want to say I wouldn't be in the position I am without you guys in my corner, right? Like, it literally takes an army to get to 10K. And I appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. So I just want to say a special mahalo. It's up on the community page. Drop your comments on that and let me know how we can make it better. If there's anything that we can make it better. We're on a scheduled live stream Monday through Friday now. And now we're going to stay on topic we're going on a month now, right? On our scheduled live streams. And, to be honest with you, the draft process is really why I make my money in terms of like the beast receipts checking out. And again, no one could have predicted how the draft unfolded. You look at all the top NFL analysts around the league, ESPN, NFL Network, that I compare to, who are the best in the standard. They finished, to be honest with you, I did the math, ran the grades. I finished 4th out of 11. So I'm just right there. So it's not like I was like, the beast receipts didn't cross off. It's just like, nah, man, like there's so many trades. Like, who would have predicted that the Arizona Cardinals would move back from 3 to 12 to 6, right? You understand what I'm saying? And then one pick ahead of the Las Vegas Raiders, who were drafting and had a need for an offensive tackle, right? Don't take my word for it, but the beast receipt checks out. And Peter King confirmed that because he was in the war room. And they went ahead and drafted Paris Johnson Jr. So anyone who says, oh, no, they weren't going offensive lineman, check yourself before you wreck yourself. The beast receipts check out. Don't take my word for it. Peter King was in the war room. Let me write this down. But yeah, look. We already talked about Tyree Wilson yesterday. I gave the grade of a C. Some people gave a grade of an A, right? But I gave a grade of a C because I like his ceiling. I just not sold on him being a base down player early on in his career, which is okay because it happened to Aldon Smith and a few others. He's a little raw for me to be drafted at 7, but at the end of the day, look, if he gets 6 to 8 sacks, 6 to 10 sacks, I mean, he could lead the defensive rookie category in sacks. A grade. But again, I'm not afraid to put analysis out in real time. I think he'll get anywhere from 6 to 10. And that's where I see it today on May 2nd, 2023. Once we watch training camp and I see, hey, man, I like what these coaches and Rob Lemon are doing with him. I like how he's standing up in 2-point stance or in 3-point stance. I like how he kind of stacks and sheds now, right? Not just be a one-trick pony as a pass rush specialist. Because he has that arm length that we all talk about, the 35 and 5/8 arm length, right? You talk about that. So, again, talked about Byron Young. If you haven't checked that last live stream yesterday on the Pick 6 segment, go check it out. Today, we are specifically talking about, and then there's 23 of us liking right now, watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to be sure to check that out. We have 19 people who like it and 23 people watching. So 4 people are not liking the video. Please be sure to hit the like button before we start. I just want to say special mahalo, and I'll go ahead and wait till you guys do that. I want to give a special mahalo to everyone that supported me in the DOB yesterday with the super chat. Really appreciate it. On to Six Soldier, thank you so much, as well as a few others. Jordan A. Raider for life says, salute B. Salute. How you doing today? Jesse Cardenas, want to give you guys a shout out, man. Raiders all day, baby. I see you. Jeremy Willis says, hashtag Beast Nation. There we go. Jesse Cardenas is all about it. Boostin' with E says, what's good, Beast Nation? I like that. You know what's funny, though? On Twitter, I put out hashtag Beast Nation, and people, oh, no, you can't use nation in the word. That's taboo. That's a big no. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. And then I go on YouTube, and they're like, no, man, that's pretty cool, man. Like, Beast Nation. And I didn't give, look, here in the DOB, you guys gave that name. I had no idea. Like, don't shoot the messenger. Oh, no, you can't use nation. That's number 1 mistake. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. You feel so strongly. A visionary says the GOAT. I like it. We got James Cho in here. Look, if you read the description box of all my YouTube videos, you will know I will give a little teaser, breakdown, snippet of what we're going to talk about. And today it's on breaking down the draft grades as it pertains to obviously the defensive backfield, right? And again, I don't like running grades on the player and how it relates to the other 31 other NFL teams without knowing the grades of the teams that they selected on those players and the valuation versus evaluation versus the players that we selected here in the DOB, right? With the Las Vegas Raiders. I say we because obviously Las Vegas Raiders, I cover the team. That's my team that I cover. But in order to form that analysis, I need to know the dynamics of the other 31. Come on, someone talk to me. Someone talk to me. So here we go. All right, when we talk about this, again, we're going to break it down brick by brick, right? So let's go ahead and start off with Jakorian Bennett. All right, I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't run grades on him. So when people were asking me for grades on Jakorian Bennett, what I thought, I was like, I don't know. I don't have grades on him. Like literally people in the media workroom would say, hey, what do you think of this guy? I was like, I don't know. I didn't run grades on him. Truthfully, that's what I said. And I was like, man, I got to run grades on this guy. So I did. So I spent all day yesterday running grades on him and Christopher Smith. And let's just start with Jakorian Bennett because he was a higher rated player that they drafted, right? So basically being a higher rated player on their board, most likely, right? You see the NFL traits that convert, right? You talk about his height, weight, speed, 4.3 guy. The guy can run like the wind. You guys know the picture, right? So again, speed kills in the NFL. That's the question that I asked him after the post-draft presser when shortly after he was drafted. You know, get to interview the player after he gets drafted, and now it's post-draft for him. And I say, hey, look, man, like I'm looking at your measurables, and you know, how do you see yourself fitting in with all that speed? And it's like, oh man, like yeah, you know, I'm very highly competitive, have a lot of ball production, right? But you know, he can stay a little bit more patient at the line of scrimmage and kind of have that makeup speed to play the ball in the air. And let's just go ahead and talk about what those layers are, right? We talk about those things, but what's the why behind what he's saying, He said the penalties are okay, if I'm not mistaken. I got to go back and read the transcript. As long as they're highly competitive. Penalties are not okay, number one, in the Raiders, right? Maybe with the Maryland's different story. But penalties are not a good thing. Like, I don't care how you look at it. It's not a good thing. That's so much hidden yardage given up, and there's so many hidden yards you can give up in any given game for you to look at this and say that's not a bad thing. But that's not on Chris. That's not on Jakorian Bennett. That's just what he was being told. So it's not a knock on him. It's just, hey, look, if a coach told me, hey, man, I don't care how you play the ball as long as you're highly competitive and it ends up being a penalty, then so be it. I'd be like, shoot, I'm going for every interception, I don't care what's happening. All bets are off. I'm using the George Atkinson approach, taking someone's head off. But no. So let's go ahead and talk about Jakorian Bennett, what he brings to the table, right? So we look up Jakorian Bennett and it's like, okay, Jakorian Bennett is a guy who they drafted and he's very raw, right? When I run the game film, he's very raw. And I say that being nice, right? When you turn on the game film, there's certain games that you look at and you're like, man, this guy looks lost. When I have in my notes right here, this guy looks lost in the game against SMU. He didn't have his best game against SMU. All right. So let me write this down, right? Let me write this down. He graded a -2 out of a 10. -2 out of a 10. Okay. Now this is week 3 against SMU, Southern Methodist University. All right. So again, there's flaws in his game. 2 times, actually 3 times. I'm looking at the notes here. 3 times he was in press zone coverage. Actually, no, 2 times he was in press zone coverage. He didn't get a jam off the wide receiver in the cover 2. The other cover 2 was a rules of engagement, the ROE that we talked about in man-to-man coverage. All 3 of those plays resulted in 20-plus big plays, 22, 34, and 24 yards of obviously given up in terms of the passing game. So those are big plays. He also gave up 16 yards elsewhere, ended up 2 more catches with the 96 yards given up on the day. All right. So you look at that, say he was targeted 5 times, all 5 of those going for completions. And you look at that, be like, man, that's not a good look. But then you see the NFL traits. You see the speed. You see, okay, now let's fast forward to week 4. How'd he do? How'd he do week 4? Well, against Michigan, right? You want to compare Big Ten competition? Let's do it. Looked at Michigan game, rarely targeted. He had 1 missed tackle in my grading system versus pass. But other than that, he was rarely targeted. Maybe because Corum just ran all over the field. But that's not his fault. He had a really good game against Michigan, right? Did his job. Do your job, as Bill Belichick would say. And he did it. And what I like to see is, again, I like to watch plays away from the play, right? So if the ball is not necessarily thrown at you, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not watching you. Does that make sense? Right? When I talked to Coach McDaniels in training camp, right? Remember when I talked to Coach McDaniels in training camp, I talked about the mental awareness and aptitude that these players have. Again, that's going away from the play, right? Because I'm watching practice. I'm not so focused on the drills being ran. I'm focused on the other players who are watching the drills and seeing how they're taking up the coaching and if they're paying attention or not goofing off. Maybe that's the coach in me because I coached. Maybe that's a player in me because I played. But if you play competitive sports, you know dang well what I'm talking about because those guys are the ones that end up being the team captains of the team, right? Because they don't slack off. They don't joke around. They don't do this. They don't do that, right? They're all about business. James Show says, what's up, Raider fam? What's going on? Phil Romero says, beast, what's take on Byron Young from Alabama? I talked about that, Phil, my guy, yesterday's Pick 6 live stream. So go ahead and watch that live stream yesterday. I was very high on him. But again, you want to, if you're not able to watch all my live streams, which obviously you guys can't because you guys have lives, be sure to watch the replay if you can't watch it live. Everything is in there. So also by doing that, it helps the watch hours here on YouTube. So again, it shows that the content that we're providing here in the DOB is of value, and we're trying to get to the road to 10K. So getting back to your question, I covered that on yesterday's Pick 6. We're moving on to Jakorian Bennett and obviously Christopher Smith. All right. But yeah, go ahead and watch that. Drop your comments. You know, Phil, I always get back to you. I always get back to you in great depth detail. Jordan A. Raiders for Life says, Beast, can you explain the importance of football IQ? Is it possible to overcome lack of height, weight, speed with intelligence? Yeah, absolutely. Look at me. I talked about this with GM Dave Ziegler as presser on Trey Tucker. I said, hey, man, like, how hard is it to convert and project a player when he's 5'9" and 181 pounds? And, you know, you see him as a return specialist, which is great because, I mean, that's all vision and lateral agility, right? It's all instincts at that point. But playing in the slot, you have to be tough. You have to be able to not have alligator arms. You have to be able to have a high football IQ to know where your help is on the defensive side because you're not playing defense, you're playing offense. But at the end of the day, you have to know the route concepts that you're running and seeing how the defense is seeing it from their perspective, and then kind of using fuga that we like to talk about in my grading system, which is F up the gray area, because again, that curl hook, curl flat defender can get caught guessing based on the running back coming to the flat, which then creates a what? Eye candy window shopping concept. Someone talk to me. And football IQ is one of those things where you can overcome that because, again, you're very smart. Like, I don't care what a guy runs. Like, we're going to get to Christopher Smith in a little bit. But the same thing that I had with Chris Borland, who called me Beastradamus for predicting him that he would be drafted by the 49ers, despite having all-pros Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Literally wrote about it. Literally talked about it here on YouTube. And he's like, man, you're like the only dude that called it. I was like, dude, he's like, you're Beastradamus. And I said, look, not only did I call that you were going to be here, but I thought Shane Scove was going to get drafted. He wasn't. He was an undrafted rookie free agent, but I thought he was coming. He's like, dude, that's crazy. And then Matt, who's his brother, obviously follows me as well on Twitter and YouTube. So mahalo to you. Chris Borland, great guy. If you guys don't know who he is, he ran a 4.7, 4.8 40-yard dash, but the guy would have been defensive rookie of the year had it not been for Aaron Donald. All right, James Show. Is it weird that they let Peter King in the war room and drop all those inside nuggets? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not weird because, one, Peter King is the man. There's a great story about Peter King. You know, I forgot what game it was or if it was during training camp, but I was there with Peter King. It was just me and him. It was during the soccer game. I forgot what it was, some soccer game. And he was like, man, like, I want to watch the soccer game. I was like, oh, well, you can watch it on my phone. So I gave him my phone, and it was on ESPN Plus, and we were watching. And then we were just talking. You know, he was just explaining to me, you know, what's my backstory coming from the Niners. And I told him Dark Side Beast Rider, and he said that's really cool. He kind of liked that. And then so it kind of we kind of just bounced around ideas. But no, getting back to Peter King, great guy, great person. You ever get to know him? He is the humblest guy you'll ever meet. Like, he is dope. So like, he wouldn't be in the position he's in to be inside that war room if he didn't have a strong track record, which obviously we know he does. So is it weird? This question has been asked to me. Is it weird that he's in there? The answer is simply no. Like, I've known people that were in the 49ers war room. Didn't report that, but I know people that were in the 49ers war room. For instance, when report came out that again, there's so many different ways we can go about this, but someone, let's just put it this way. All right, back in 2016, all right, ironically, Niners were picked at number 7. There was a report that came out by somebody who said, oh man, Buckner was higher rated on their board. This is in hindsight. Buckner was higher rated on their board than Joey Bosa. And I was like, no, I don't think so. When I run the game film, I don't think so. But it's all about scheme fit and what they feel, right? Now, who cares about my game film breakdown? Who cares? But I was like, I don't think so, right? And the guy's like, nah, man, like, and I was like, okay. Was he in the war room? Nope. This guy was not in the war room, but that's what he was been told. And so I was like, okay, well, based on what I'm seeing, I think that they would value a Joey Bosa more than not saying that DeForest Buckner is not going to be a great all-pro, because I knew I had them both with all-pro grades. Actually, I had 49ers mocking DeForest Buckner at number 7. But then he said that, oh, no, Buckner was higher rated. I'm like, no. And I cross-checked my references. Someone inside that war room confirms a year later, no, that's not true, Beast. You're right. Joey Bosa was higher rated on their board, and it's out of 100 system. So is it concerning? No. I think that's cool that Peter King dropped those dimes. He timestamped everything. Like, everything was timestamped. And the fact that Paris Johnson was high on their board, right? They would have took Paris Johnson if he was there. That's why Arizona Cardinals, Monty Ossenfort leapfrogged from going back from 3 to 12, from 12 to 6, because he knew what GM Dave Ziegler wanted. Not saying he didn't want Tyree Wilson. There's a cluster there. But to say that they weren't targeting the offensive line, someone preach. If you understand mock drafts and how they work, someone talk to me. Let's keep it 100. Phil Romero says, what do you know about Tyree Wilson's foot injury? What do I know about Tyree? I don't know anything. In fact, I was asking Vinny in the media workroom. I was like, hey, man, what do you think about that foot? Literally. So I don't know. What's up, G says, tell everyone to subscribe to the channel. The goal is 10K subscribers by September. Yes, it is. My Holly in the house says, subscribe to all social media. How you doing, Holly? And smash the like button. All right, so we have 40 people watching right now. Let's give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. And there's 29 people, 40 likes, so we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit because we have 11 people watching it who have not liked the Beast Rider Insight. Let me write this down. So we'll wait a little bit, and then we'll start off. So I'll give you guys a chance to do that. Again, a like is free. So if you're watching it, even if you're not a fan of me, but you watch it, every single video, give it a thumbs up because you're watching it for a reason. I think. Come on, man. Proof's in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding. You wouldn't waste your time watching me if you didn't think I had value. I wouldn't want to watch somebody else if they didn't provide value. I wouldn't be on the Stairmaster doing my 100,000 calories, whatever the case may be, in under an hour if I didn't feel that person had value. So if you feel the value, give it a thumbs up. If you don't feel the value, then don't watch the stream. Don't watch the YouTube channel. All right. Thank you so much. So we went from 30 to 39 right away. All right. So here we go. I love the DLB fam. Look, Jack Hansen says, salute B. Salute, Jack. How you doing? Sean Johnson, how you doing? Salute to you. Raider Nation Jason, how you doing? Look, all I'm saying is this. Let's start with the guy that was drafted by Jakorian Bennett, right? By the Raiders, Jakorian Bennett. All right. So we just went down SMU, had a good game against Michigan. And then week 11 against Ohio State, I wanted to jump around a little bit. I have games in between, but there's only so many hours in the day for me to hop on this live stream and talk about a player. So again, I saw something that usually you wouldn't otherwise see. Like you see like how he struggled. He looked lost in the SMU game. I'm being honest with you. He looked a little lost. But in fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was a cover 5, 2 deep man underneath, and he was playing zone coverage instead of man-to-man. Against SMU, and he did it again week 11. If I'm not mistaken, it was cover 5. Bennett played zone instead of man-to-man. Now I could be wrong. Again, the rules of engagement don't apply. I don't count this against him because again, I don't know. I don't know what the ROE is. So that's why I don't put a grade on it. But it is interesting because more times than not, if you're running a cover 5 or if it's quarter, half, whatever the coverage is, you'll see different cover shells based on the rules of engagement of how the receivers are running their routes and coming off their stem and flying off their stem. So again, This is where grading comes into play, right? If you don't know, you don't know. So don't penalize the player. But if it's a cover 5, it's a cover 5, right? And if you see if it's a cover 2 or if it's a cover 1, okay, what kind of cover 1? Is it cover 1 hole, cover 1 robber, cover 1 cat, right? Cover 1 spy. What kind of cover 1 is it? What kind of cover 3 is it? So again, you really have to know what you're looking for in order for me to watch the film and actually have a strong conviction on why and what's the why behind the what. And so I look at the Ohio State game and I was like, man, this guy, he really improved later on in the year with his ball skills. We talk about ball skills. I talked to a GM who I keep in touch with, right? And one thing that he always told me is, hey, man, if the DB doesn't have ball skills, he's undraftable. Like literally, this guy's undraftable. And so I was like, oh, that's weird. Not really, because you have to have ball skills. Like you have to make plays on the ball because turnovers are a huge part of the game. It can swing the momentum of the game. It can determine wins and losses, right? Duh. So I know it's a common sense thing, but some people will draft guys that don't have ball skills, right? Because they see the NFL traits that, hey, man, he has hands of stone, but we can work with that. Who is a former wide receiver in high school, we can work with that. Again, you have to go back. You can't just go back in college film. You can. For me, I like to go back in college and high school and start there. Oh, you guys were wondering. Yes, this is a Raiders water bottle. I like keeping their water bottles and just refilling it with water. I don't know why. I like these little water bottles that they give us. It's pretty cool. People are like, oh, that's a cool Raider water bottle. All right, so let me just go ahead. It's free advertising. Only at Raiders headquarters. No, I like Jakorian Bennett. I like what he brings to the table, but he is very raw. But he has the speed, and you've seen progress in his play. So playing opposite of Deontay Banks, I was like, man, this guy has something. I can see why GM Dave Ziegler took a flyer on him. So while he does take false steps, why he doesn't really have that drop of a dime coming out of his back pedal and flying out of the back pedal, he does have somewhat of closing speed, right? You talk about the closing speed at the catch point, closing speed. Look, what does it equate to? Special teams, right? The kicking game. Can this guy be a gunner? I like Jakorian Bennett, but if I was to run a grade on it, I would have rather them select, well, let's be honest about it. Who else was left? Really nobody. So can I get an A grade on this? Probably not. Can I get a B grade? You could, but you're banking on guys and potential. Kind of like Tyree Wilson, right? So I would give it a C. I would give it a solid C because, again, I see the traits. This guy can be amazing. But Coach Ash and Coach Simmons have to coach this guy up from fundamentals standpoint. Staying patient at the line of scrimmage, not opening his hips up too early, staying square at the line of scrimmage. And again, working on that back pedal, right? You have a strong cadence in your back pedal, but do you take false steps coming in and out of your breaks when the wide receiver can drop off the dime? He drops his hips and then boom, he's gone, right? No matter which direction he's going in, you got to make sure you take a proper angle to that route in order to get in prime position for a PBU or an interception. And then also don't wait on the double move, right? So again, where's your forward momentum going? Where's your back? You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's talk football, everyone. Ryan Rangel, salute, beast. What's going on, my guy? How you doing? Xavier Foster says, yo, thoughts on UDFA Drake Thompson. The UDFAs will be talked about in different segments, right? So today, I haven't ran grades on them. So it'd be unfair for me to talk about a player I had no study film on them, right? Study film. Film study. Study film or film study. I'm dyslexic. I'm sorry. Film study on them. Ryan Rangel says, beast, how about the UDFA? Oh, so here we're talking about another. You guys want all grades, right, on UDFAs? I will get to that toward the end of the week. Right now, we're just on the draft picks. Again, I don't like posting analysis on a player and giving out grades without conviction that I know what I'm talking about based on what I feel, based on what I see. So that's why, again, we're a little bit different here, right? We're a little bit slower to the learning curve in terms of instantly putting out instant reaction stuff, right? Like, because for me, I want to get it right? I want to get the beast receipts right. And if I don't get it right, I'm going to call myself out regardless of the situation. I'll man up and do that. So again, this is what I like doing. Jakorian Bennett, like him, right? So I give a grade of a C. And that's not a bad grade. That's a good grade by me. Trust me. All right. So getting to Christopher Smith. Love this guy. Christopher Smith is a baller. I really like what he brings to the table. And getting him in the 5th round at pick number 170, this is a steal. And this is the steal of the draft for the Las Vegas Raiders. Mark it down. Christopher Smith, write this down, will be fighting for a starting role in 2023. Christopher Smith will be fighting for a starting role in 2023. And don't be surprised if he ends up being the best defensive player in this entire draft class. I'm joking, not going that far. But don't be surprised if he really shines. Oh my gosh, he says he's the best. Oh, we got to be said. Oh, no, I really like Christopher Smith. So let's go on and talk about the pick on Christopher Smith. Well, he's a free safety, right? You see him playing single high looks a lot of the time. And what I see from him, and again, I graded 11 games of him. 11 freaking games, right? And what I like about him, he's tough, physical, and smart, first of all. So when GM Dave Ziegler talks about the next Duron Harmon, you really see that in his game. And I got along with Duron Harmon, talked to him on a day-to-day basis. In fact, during the season, I probably talked to him every other day, right? So I talked to him a lot. And one thing that stood out, and I talked about it with Duron, and you guys know my Locker Room Pulse interviews, is how smart he is. How he can read route concepts before the snap. That's based on what? Film study. Again, comes back to having a high football IQ. You have to know what to look for in order to kind of cheat your splits, right? In order if you're playing a single high or a 2 deep safety shell. Come on, someone talk to me. And the pre-snap to post-snap false rotation that they're showing on the back end there to disguise what the quarterback's thinking and doing at the once the ball is snapped. So again, the dynamic here is GM Dave Ziegler finding not only a key special teams player for Coach McMahon, but a viable starter for years to come to team up with Marcus Epps. And now I'm not saying Trayvon Merrick is not going to start, but I'm saying, hey, what happened to Tyree Gillespie last year? Traded him to the Tennessee Titans, to John Robinson at the time, who was a GM for a 4th round pick. 13 days later, he was cut. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Alex Leatherwood, we all know what happened there. And what I say, no man is safe, especially when it comes to the Mike Mayock, John Gruden regime. Cleve Farrell, where is he? In San Francisco. I'm just saying, Dave Ziegler wants his guys, and I don't blame him. Now, I'm not saying that Dave Ziegler doesn't like Trayvon Merrick. I'm just saying the proof is in the pudding when you look at the analytics and look at exactly what he's doing here in Vegas. He wants guys that fit his scheme. Now, does Trayvon Merrick fit his scheme? I don't know. I called Trayvon Merrick beast receipt that did not check out, which is, I think, only like 4 did not check out all year out of all the beast receipts. This is one of them. I said Trayvon Merrick was going to be a Pro Bowl player last year. That's what I said. Literally said he was going to be a Pro Bowl player. Didn't happen. So I like Trayvon Merrick. Still like Trayvon Merrick. But it doesn't matter what I think. It's how I see things actually playing out. Right? Like, I like Peter Skoronski more than I like Paris Johnson. But it's actually how I see things playing out. Paris Johnson. I like Trayvon Merrick. He's going to be fighting for a spot, though. I honestly believe that he's going to be fighting for a spot with Christopher Smith. Honestly. If Christopher Smith can show that he has the range and he picks up things because he has a high football IQ, and based on what I saw in the Oregon game, the Sanford game, the South Carolina game, Florida game, Tennessee game, Mississippi State game, Kentucky game, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, TC, you know what I'm saying? He's very consistent. The guy rarely gives up the big play. That 4.62 or whatever he ran in that 4.6 on film, you know what I see? I see a 4.4, 4.5 guy. I'm serious. I see a 4.4, 4.5 guy. Football speed in pads is different from track speed in board shorts. How a guy runs in pads is all I care about. I don't care how he runs in shorts. You're on the field when the game and the lights come on, you're not running in shorts. Maybe pregame warm-ups, but not during the game. You have equipment on you. It's called a helmet, shoulder pads, jock strap, a uniform, a towel, gloves, no strapped. Come on, man. Let's keep it 100. But no, Chris Smith is really good. He might be my favorite player by the Raiders, by the way. I like Michael Mayer. He might be the best selection, like my favorite selection. Chris Smith definitely provides the most value. I like Chris Smith a lot. I like Chris Smith a lot. Now, he did match up against Jalen Hyatt, a 4.37 guy. This is where, again, game film comes to play. What do I see in a 4.4 guy instead of a 4.6 guy that he ran at the 40-yard dash? Go look at what he ran against Jalen Hyatt. And again, if you look at my Beast receipts, pre-draft analysis on Jalen Hyatt and what he would run, there's no question he's going to be look, he abused Alabama, right? Scored like 10,000 touchdowns in one game. Brian Branch couldn't stay with him. Malachi Moore couldn't stay with him. Eli Ricks, come on, someone talk to me. I would have been happy with Jalen Hyatt in the Raider uniform. Speed kills. But the need wasn't there. They were looking at the vertical board and horizontal board and be like, hey, man, let's just get the cornerback that we want. I'm joking because Jalen Hyatt obviously was drafted higher, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was drafted in the 3rd. Wasn't Jalen Hyatt drafted in the 3rd? Or he was drafted in the 4th. Let's see. My head's not on straight. Yeah, he was drafted in the 3rd at 73. Get this. Right after Cedric Tillman, who I really liked, and my guy, Zach Harrison, who I had mocked to the Raiders if they didn't go edge rusher with their first-round pick. I like Zach Harrison a lot. Out of the Ohio State University, doesn't get enough credit that he deserves, I think, when evaluating the game film. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a guy. Jack Hanna says, Beast, a couple questions. Your choice, not the Raiders. Ziegler goes Carter or Tyree. Trucker thoughts. Was it big reach since predicted late 4th, early 5th overall draft grade? These are all great questions. I'm going to answer the latter part of your question. Like Trey Tucker will be evaluated in 2 days from now. Again, I have to watch the game film. As far as the overall draft grade, have to watch the game film. So again, that's why you guys have to come back and see what I have to say, because I have to watch the film. There's not enough hours in the day for me to say, hey, man, I have grades on these guys. This is my grade on how the draft unfolded. Because again, you're not just grading the Raiders draft. You're grading the other 31 other NFL teams. So in order to place the valuation versus evaluation on whether or not Trey Tucker was a reach, you really have to go back and watch the film. For me, that's how we do it in the DOB. I can't speak for anyone else. This is how we do it. And that's why I like to take my time, because I need to get it right. And I want to get it right. Right? That's why you guys follow me. That's why you say, hey, what is my grade on this player? What is my evaluation on that player? How is the player analysis on this player going to fit the Raider scheme based on what you see on film? I mean, everybody uses player analysis, right? Everyone talks, oh, this player's going to be good. This player's going to be bad. This guy's a beast in run support. This guy, that's all scouting. At the end of the day, I go back to the film. I don't care what people write. Like people say Kelee Ringo was a 2nd-round pick. What I say here in the DOB, I say late 3, early 4. He went in the 4th round. CT says, Beast, what's your thoughts on us drafting Farva from Super Troopers as our rookie quarterback? Oh, man. Again, have to run the grades. James Shaw says, did you see a rumor of Mark Davis pushing for speeder Jalen Hyatt? Here we go. Jalen Hyatt, but Raiders missed out and ended up drafting Trey Tucker. Yeah, I did see that. D-Menace says, salute, Beast. What's going on, D-Menace? Salute to you, my man. My guy says, Jeremy says, wish you traded up for Drew Sanders and then draft quarterback Kelee Ringo. We've been on for 39 minutes and 9 seconds. If you'd like to support the channel and like the daily Beast content that we provide here when it comes to your silver and black, please be sure to hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Also, turn on the bell notification so you get notified when we go live or upload content. I'm looking at the analytics as I do every day before I go to sleep. Only 14% have turned on the bell notifications despite being subscribed to the channel. So be sure to hit that bell notifications. Because otherwise, you guys are going to have questions on players and everything. Like, you're not getting notifications. And it's like, man, we talked about that 2 days ago. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about, you know what I'm saying? So stay up to date, right? If I'm your eyes and ears as a beat writer straight from Raiders headquarters, you're going to want to stay up to date. right? Because we're already on to the next thing. And I know there's so many hours in the day. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, they're still good. They're still valid. It's not like it has an expiration date. No, training camp isn't here yet. Go watch those videos. That'd be funny if these videos had an expiration date. Okay, the timetable is 48 hours. And then it expires. Like, whoa, what is this, Instagram story? Yeah, but we're going to talk about a lot of different things. But I like Christopher Smith a lot. This guy's tough, smart, physical, understands route concepts, gets the one thing I noticed about him is he's the quarterback of the secondary. And I talked about this with the 49ers, right? Again, you have to know what you're talking about in order to format that analysis. And I even talked about it with Coach Simmons, right? Quarterback of the secondary, it's usually the free safety. It could be the strong safety depending on how, the scheme fit and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's usually the free safety, right? Why? Because he's the last line of defense where the strong safety is up in the box. Now, if you have a Tyrann Mathieu who can mirror and match however you want to see fit, that's different. If you have a Budda Baker, that's different, right? We all know this. So those guys can be interchangeable, I should say, intertwinable. Is that even a word? Intertwinable. Budda Baker, Tyrann Mathieu, guys like that. So like Minkah Fitzpatrick, we had Terrell Edmonds back there. He was the quarterback of the secondary. It wasn't Terrell Edmonds. So again, you look at that dynamics, and when I run grades on all 32 NFL teams, you can tell based on pre-snap to post-snap play, because again, who's making those calls? It's usually the guy that's the last line defense, or what's labeled as what Coach Saleh likes to call the eraser role. By the way, miss you, Coach Saleh. If you're watching, call it your boy. All right. What else we got going on here? Jackass says Bennett was the pick, like it, and he plays DB free safety, 4.3 right now, possible starter. Ooh, you have him as a possible starter. I gotta see more fun. He has to be more fundamental sound for me. Again, I like his highly competitive nature. I just need to see him being a little bit more patient at the line of scrimmage. Because once you get once you flip your hips, you commit, you might overcommit. What's up, Jason? If you know someone that would be interested in today's content, send them the link. There you go. Also post on your social media platforms. Absolutely. This will definitely help out the algorithm here on YouTube. And there's 50 people watching right now. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. And we will go ahead. And again, I'm going to take a little break while you guys do that. And we'll go ahead and talk about Christopher Smith and, of course, Jakorian Bennett. I really like Christopher Smith a lot. Like he might be my favorite Raider player in this entire draft class, simply because of where he's drafted and what he brings to the table. Now, write that down. Let me write that down. Oh, man. Holly Wong says, help the algorithm and hit the like button. Jason Singleton says, so bye-bye Morrig cut next year. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not going as far as that, because, that's a bold. Look, if let's say Chris Smith gets injured, then what? Let's say Trayvon Merritt gets injured. He's going to be the starter going into training camp. No question about it. You have to have Trayvon Merritt, right? Like, what's the plan B option? And I like Trayvon Merritt. Look, I said he was going to be a Pro Bowl player last year. Am I going to see he's a Pro Bowl player this year? Probably not, because I need to see something to make me believe that. But there's always training camp. So again, it could happen. Rick L says competition is good. Lencho says, what's your take on Divine Diablo? He should be a dude on the team. Hey, man. This is the question that I asked to Coach Graham, where he said I asked the best questions. It was in regards to Divine Diablo on player value comparison. And Divine Diablo is going to be on the team. Mark it down. He's going to be a player coming off an injury. Don't sleep on my guy Divine, bro. Arkham Raider says, Luke Beast, Graham liked to have 3 safeties on the field in certain packages. Merritt, Chris Smith, and Epps would be my choices. Yeah. He likes to do a lot of variety of different things. He likes to use a 4-3 front. He also likes to use the odd man front, right? So you have guys in a 2-point stance, 3-point stance, has guys screaming off the edge, maybe off the blitz, off the slot blitz that they like to use a little bit from time to time, or a cornerback blitz. And then you see that safety coming up, and now it's a cover 3 because everyone's rotating one way at the post snap, Come on. Likes to do a lot of things to confuse the quarterback. Jeremy Willis says possibly Chris Smith and Isaiah Pullamau starting safeties. Ooh, no, I think Marcus S would be a starting safety there. I don't think you give that kind of bread to a player that would be riding the pine in a backup role. Jack Kenneth says, oh my God, the stream paused. Sorry, brothers. Oh, man. All right. So keep it real. 100 says Beast Rider, real talk. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. All right. So we've been on for 45 minutes and 29 seconds. If you'd like to support through a super chat, super sticker, it really helps out the channel a lot and also helps me a lot. So if you guys would like to donate to the channel and the hard work and dedication that I bring on a day-to-day basis, literally, please feel free to send me a super chat here on YouTube. Or if you like, people have been sending me donations on Venmo as well. So if you have a Venmo, it's in the description box below of every channel video I make, and you guys can subscribe and donate there as well. Not subscribe, but donate on Venmo. That'd be funny. Can you just subscribe to my Venmo channel? Wait, what? That doesn't even make sense. Daniel Kiss says, just jumped on. I agree. Smith has a great potential to really outplay his draft position. Javi Ramirez says, who do you see winning and starting as our defensive tackles? Again, I'm going to reserve comment on this because I like Matthew Butler. I like Neil Farrell. I also like Byron Young. Obviously, Bilal Nichols is going to be starting at one position, but who's going to be taking the other comes down to training camp. Iron sharpens iron mentality, how they practice, how I see them leveraging their, again, point of attack ability. Do you know how to ID the ball carrier? Do you know how to lock out? It's cool, right? Everyone talks about these terms, right? Okay, lockout. What does that mean? What does that mean, lockout? Okay, so you lock out on a player, you lock horns with a player, but what does that mean? Do you know how to disengage with proper fundamentals? Do you know how to stack and shed from box to spill? Do you know where the play is going based on the second level backers behind you to make their lives easier? Do you know if you're in a one gap or two, right? There's different layers to this. So again, for me, it goes back to training camp. I have to see with my own eyes in order to formulate this evaluation. Too many times over, I think people make false narratives because they jump to the conclusion, jump the gun on exactly what they see is going to happen based on nothing. There's no basis to base that analysis off of because, again, training camp has yet to take place. So let's go ahead and wait till training camp, hold off on those. And when training camp rolls around, you guys know how I like to roll my training camp videos and breaking it down because, again, like I was talking to my guy today, right? There's a lot of people here who are deaf who are watching this, right? So again, if they're deaf, that's why I have the closed captions on in my videos. That's why I do these YouTube live streams for you guys. And then also there's people who are blind, right? But they can hear what I have to say. So again, it's really, really cool because you don't know who's following you, right? And again, I want to make it as simple as possible to everyone. And so that's why I like making these videos. And again, for those daily grinders that want to know what I have to say, you guys can also read that in the description box of every video, or you guys can find that in the comment section. Again, there's a lot of comments that roll through here on a day-to-day basis on all social media platforms. I want to make sure that I leave no stone unturned and leaving no one left out, right? So the last thing we want to do is do something that's going to not build up the DOB and bring those good vibes only. So that's why I continue to do it. And with the Niners, same thing, right? You guys know Audrey, right? Audrey was on here. Her dad was a big supporter here. She's blind, right? And so that's why one of the reasons why I started doing the YouTube is because like she likes my stuff, but she can't really see what I'm saying. So she can hear, right? Right? She can hear what I'm saying. So that's why we do that. All right. So keep it real. 100 says, is Zamir White ready to possibly be the #1 running back? Training camp will dictate where he's at. James Show says, Mark Davis feels like he's getting more involved with some football decisions. I think he's the main reason Carr goes pushed out and is Davis thinking he could land Brady this offseason. All right. So we've been on for 49 minutes and 26 seconds. If you'd like to send me a super chat, please go ahead and do so. It definitely helps out the channel, and it definitely help these live streams for sure. Or give this video a thumbs up. That's free. That is free. So again, there's 41 people in here. Let's get these likes up. I'm going to go ahead and wait when you guys do that because we should have a lot more likes than what we're seeing right now. Let me write this down. I got time. I got time. So we're up to 57 right now. And we'll wait. We'll wait. So let's go ahead and read the comments right now. Juan Avalo says, do Raiders beat Riders get guess? I was like, get gut. Do Raiders beat Riders get guest passes to Raiders headquarters? No, we don't. We don't get guest passes to Raiders headquarters, unfortunately. What's up, G says, we have 43 watching and only 17 likes. Please hit the like button and help the algorithm. We need more views to help the channel grow. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait. Let me write this down. There's a lot of people. Let me write this down, but we'll wait. We'll wait till that goes up. We're getting more viewers in here too. So we'll wait. We'll wait. We'll play the waiting game. And again, if you guys like to support, you guys can send me a super chat or super sticker, and we can go ahead and get that over to you. And answer any questions you have. So if you have a super chat question or you want to be heard, or if you want a shout out, send me a super chat. I'll post that up on the board and you will be heard. Yeah. We'll wait. We got time. We got time. Let me write this down. Psycho Jackal says, how many players from SDSU got drafted? The answer would be 0. No San Diego State players got drafted in this 2023 NFL draft. Don't know what to tell you. Go Aztecs. What, you're an Aztec fan? Yeah, I went to San Diego State. Oh, you're a Warriors fan? Yeah, from the Bay. Oh, you're a Bama fan? Yeah, I grew up a Bama fan because my uncle had ALS and that was on, and everyone wants to know my backstory. First of all, I not only did I grow up in the Bay on being a Warriors fan, but also helped train and got the Golden State Warriors cheerleaders game ready. If you want the beast receipts on that, trust me, I got them. Got them ready for their finals run. So, I mean, I think it's interesting that people want to know my life story. But if you don't know, you don't know. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You'd be better off. But if you want the beast receipts, you think the 2007 notebook paper highlights on my mock draft is not the best beast receipt out there yet? I got another beast receipt when it comes to the Warriors. So if you know, you know. Juan Avala says, SDSU. Oh, that's what's up. Wait, so your son goes to San Diego State? And where's he living? Is he living in Chappie, Zura? Where else we got? We got Quickacali. That was brand new when I went there. I was the first to break that in, mofo. Quickacali was known as like the Taj Mahal of suites at San Diego State University, for real. We were the first ones to live in that suite 151. What you know about that life? Good times. We had 7 roommates, lived in a suite. Literally, it was a suite at San Diego State. On campus, it was crazy. Oh, Juan's daughter goes, okay, I see you. How is she liking it? What is she studying? Great school. San Diego State's a great school. I still keep in touch with my professor, Professor Bill Sanwald, who was in charge at the time of the master's program. Wanted me to enter the master's program too. Shout out to Professor Bill Sanwald, who's a big NFL fan as well. Rocker Corey says, who's your surprise cut and pick up before kickoff? Again, I can't make this determination until training camp rolls around. So once that comes into play, Juan Avella says sociology. So I don't know the answer to this. We'll have to wait until training camp rolls around. But thank you so much, Rocker Corey, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Juan Avella says sociology. Dude, who was my sociology cheater? Forgot. I remember I had sociology with my boy Chaz Shillings, who was drafted by the Raiders. And me and Chaz is fun. It was good times. If you guys know who Chaz Shillings is, San Diego State. Speedy wide receiver, 4.3 speed. Unfortunately, my boy couldn't stay healthy, but hey. Keep It Real 100 says, Beast Rider, I have a signed football by Sandra Morgan, Dave Ziegler, that I would like to give it to Ziegler or McDaniels as a reminder to never blow a 20-point lead versus Arizona. Can you help? Can't help you there, my guy. Cannot help you there, my guy. All right. Juan Avalo says she graduates this spring, headed to grad school this fall. Oh, wow. Good for her. Congratulations, Juan. You must be very proud. I would be proud. And man, San Diego State's a great school. Ask her, Juan, ask your daughter if she ever hits up Trujillo's. Ask her if she ever goes to Trujillo's and say, hey, did she order the 5-side burrito or the carne asada fries? What did she order? Ask her. She probably get the burritos are named after our fraternities that are on campus, and we have a 5-side burrito. I wonder if she eats that. Everyone loves the 5-side burrito, by the way. Everyone loves the Sigma Chi too. Sigma Chi is good too. Carne asada fries are on point. Literally, every time I go to San Diego State or San Diego, forget San Diego State, just San Diego in general, I go to San Diego State, go make a run to Trujillo, see my guy Junior, who always gave me love. Junior always took care of me, man. Daniel Kim, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, for the grind and for always representing the nation strong. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. All right. And again, we have 59 likes, and give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say, and we'll go ahead and answer some questions. But let's go ahead and get those likes up, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Let me write this down. But thank you so much, DK. I appreciate it. All right. So we have, and again, if you want to send a super chat and support the channel, you guys can do that just like Daniel Kim did, just like Rocker Corey did, and just like so many Psycho Jackal has. Sorry, I have to read the names. You guys have been awesome. And again, we'll give you guys a shout out as well, because again, we want to highlight those people, but then also highlight the people who just leave general questions in the chat. You guys are just as important. But yeah, if you guys want to do that, we'll get to those questions first in the super chats. All right. So there's some questions here. Let's see here. Let me scroll up a little bit because we do have some questions here. Jeremy Willis says, Beast, do you think Isaiah Polomal can play weak side linebacker or dime linebacker? He's 6'4" and physical. I think he's better suited as a safety. That's just my opinion. But he did beef up a little bit. I got to see my guy Isaiah. Isaiah's a good guy. Great person. Also the cousin of Troy Polamalu. All right, there's 47 of you guys watching. We've been on for 57 minutes and 50 seconds. If you like the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and we will go ahead and talk about some things that you guys want answered. Also, if you'd like to send a super chat or super sticker, you can do that here on YouTube. Echo Base 29 says, Bear Front, what is our starting defense and line looking like? So if you guys don't know what a Bear Front is called, and why it's labeled a bear front, basically you're clogging up the A gaps, right? So you're clogging the interior rush, and then you have to, in that 34 base, you have to have outside linebackers who can set a hard edge and at the point of attack. How would I know this? Because I broke down the bear front so many times over. Talked about it with my guy Tim Ryan over with the 49ers many years ago when they were converting from a 4-3 to a 34 front, and we talked about the bear front because obviously he played for the Bears. The 4-6 defense, right? It was labeled a 46 defense, but that's not because they run a 4-6 front. It's because obviously the player that they used was a 46 number, jersey number. And we can ask Rob Ryan about the 46 defense. I bet you he loves that. When you talk about the 46 Bear defense, or what's called the Bear front, and covering up the interior guards in the center, you're looking at guys, again, on that defensive line. Bilal Nichols can definitely two-gap, right? You're looking for guys who can two-gap, right? Tyler Lancaster played in the Bear front as well with the Green Bay Packers, right? But he's not on the team anymore. But, I mean, guys on the roster today, you look at guys like Bilal Nichols, Neil Farrell can play in a Bear front, but you need big space eaters, right? And I think all those guys can play in a Bear front. Matthew Butler, Byron Young, all these guys can play in a Bear front. They really can. But you have to be able to two-gap, not one gap. So Kalijah Cansey would not be good in a Bear front. That's why I said he was scheme-dependent, not scheme-diverse. You see what I'm saying? All right? So again, when you talk about a Bear front, there's different layers to this, right? So if I was to ask a question, and you guys for those of you who don't know, or I want to know, I should say, where did you guys find me from? Is it from Twitter, Bleacher Report, Instagram, YouTube? Where did you guys find? Is it from someone else's channel that I was collabing with? Because I want to know you guys. I want to know how you guys found me and what you guys like about what I bring to the table, right? Because the flavor that we bring here in the DOB is a little bit different than your traditional beat writer, which is different, not better or worse. It's just different. And I try to keep it different. And that's how I did with the Niners. So let me know again where the source of where you're following me from is, so I can kind of say, hey, oh, maybe I should do more of this or XYZ. And so again, that's kind of like how I like to ask your guys' feedback. Echo Base 29 says, found you on Twitter. Keep it real. 100 says 46 Bear defense. See, we already know. You already know about the 46. All right. And again, there's 43 of you guys watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. There's 64 likes right now. And again, that is free 99. I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for any of that, although that does help. So if you'd like to send a donation on the super chat or like to be heard or like to be given a shout out, please send me a super chat and that would help out the channel a lot. And again, it'll definitely helps with the algorithm when you like the channel and engage with it. So that is free. So do one of those three things, please, 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 if you like my silver and black content, because it takes 1 second to go ahead and hit the like button, right? Also, flip on the bell notifications. A lot of you guys are asking me questions that I already talked about. So again, if you haven't watched any of my previous live streams, be sure to do that because those don't have an expiration date. They're still valid, right? Leading up to training camp. So you're not going to want to miss a beat on the beat, especially when we have Case Kiefer on Thursday, who is another fellow beat writer, getting another fresh perspective, and he brings another flavor to the table. So again, all good things here in the DOB. All right. So we've been on for 1 hour and 2 minutes. 1 hour and 2 minutes, guys. We've been on this live stream for the Pick Six at 6. And let me just tell you guys something about what we like to do here in the DOB, right? So again, I turn on the film, graded all these games and all these players. And one thing I liked about Christopher Smith, just talking about Christopher Smith, is he has deceiving speed. Like he takes long strides. Like he's not a short strider. He's a long strider. So like when he takes these long strides, like it doesn't look like he's running as fast as he really is. But the dude stayed up with Jalen Hyatt in a lot of one-on-one situations, especially downfield. And when Jalen Hyatt was running a go route down the seam, or sorry, not the down seam, outside the numbers, he actually stayed with them. Now he was a step slow. I'm not going to sit there and lie. Like he was probably half a step behind. But I mean, you're trying to stick to a 4.3 guy and you're only a half step behind. I mean, that's pretty freaking fast. And the 4.6 does not reflect that, right? Because if he ran a 4.6 in board shorts and then you're saying, oh, is that what you see on film? No, he'd be what? He'd be playing a little bit further off, right? He'd be, instead of a half step behind, he'd probably be a step and a half behind, right? So again, when you break down film in tenths of a second too, you can kind of see different layers here, right? And again, it comes down to what? Film study. He probably knew already, playing with a sizable cushion off the line of scrimmage, how much that Jalen Hyatt likes to take the top off of defense. So a lot of times when he's playing off zone coverage, you're going to see a lot of times that, hey man, this runs a 4.3. I can be 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. And then I know the closing point at the catch point that I'm going to limit yards at the catch because I am a sure tackler out in open space. And so again, when you say that and say, okay, I'm okay with giving up, 5 to 6 yards and being 10 yards back because I don't want to get beat deep, right? Nothing cheap, nothing deep, right? We always talk about this, right? Here in the DOB. And so again, you have to know the dynamics and layers to this in order to formulate the analysis. And for me, it always comes back to the game film. The film never lies. The film never lies. The film never lies. Leonardo Villafuerte says, he found me from Sanjit's channel, the guy who's always says he's excited. What is he excited about? What is he excited about? Like the passion. What is he excited about? Jack Hanna says, I see the Raiders doing a 4.52 more than 4.6. Yeah, I see a 4.52 more than a 46 base defense. I see a combination of everything. Honestly, I see, you can run a 4.52. You can also run a Oh, that's nice. Just got a thank you so much for Jennifer Castillo for sending me a Venmo donation. Just got the thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys want to send me a Venmo donation, it's in the description box below. Also, it's in the YouTube channel art on the landing page. You guys can find it there. There's my Venmo linked up there. But yeah, it's simple for you guys, and it's in the description box below. And a lot of you guys prefer sending me a Venmo super chat. Sorry, a Venmo donation rather than a super chat. Both work. Both work. All right. Jack Hanna says, Beast found you from helping my boys Raiders Ray and Pharaoh and connecting them together. Oh, that's what's up. And hopefully we can grow the DOB. So again, if you guys like my content, if you like this flavor that I bring to the table from a beat writer perspective, because I'm there at Raiders headquarters Monday through Friday, be sure to spread the word. Let them know, hey, where can I find Beast Rider? He's on YouTube. Or I'm not on YouTube. Okay, that's cool. He's on Instagram and Twitter too, at Beast Rider, right? You see it right here, right? You see this right here, at Beast Rider. I don't just have, where's it right here? I don't have this right here for no reason, right? At Beast Rider. I mean, that's kind of where you can find me. So when people say, how can I find you? Just go, you have social media, right? Everyone has social media. At Beast Rider. Boom. And then Dark Side of Beast Rider, you guys can find me on Facebook as well. So there it is. Beast Rider is where you can find me. But yeah, definitely get a YouTube channel. Definitely get a YouTube account. If you have a Gmail account, you can open up a YouTube account because you're not going to want to miss a beat. The majority of my content is pushed here on YouTube. That's obviously something that you guys all come to love. Again, there's people who are deaf, so I want to make sure that they're taken care of, right? There's people who have learning disabilities, want to take care of those people. So again, whether you're deaf, blind, whatever, like we have all those types of people in here. And I know because I get the comments and I get emails saying, hey man, thank you so much for doing that and putting the closed captions on. It's funny though. I always thought I had my closed captions on and I didn't. So I apologize for that. For some reason they were off on the video. And it just so happened I was so busy throughout the year, I didn't turn it back on. But then always defaulted it to having closed captions on. Like, why would I not have it on? So yeah, so we fixed that problem. Hopefully, if it runs into it again, let me know. We don't want that. We want to make sure everyone can be heard and have a voice, right? Arkham Raider says, I found you through your OTA videos from last year. 100. Keep up the great content, Beast. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm really excited for the training camp OTA videos I'm going to be posting. You guys know, Niner fans know this, how I do it. I break it down as it's unfolding because, again, maybe because I coach, but I see things I like to think I see things from a different lens. So again, the why, right? And then during the season, when people are calling out Coach Graham, oh man, like that's on the coaching. They don't practice tackling, but no, we covered this in training camp. And that's exactly what happened. People are calling out Coach Graham. I was like, no, man, I'm pretty sure Coach Ash, Coach Simmons, Coach Pierce, pretty sure everyone involved was teaching the art of fundamentals. What it come down to? The hunt and gather technique that I talked about. They're not going to give you the answer. You have to know that, right? What's the hunt and gather technique? Broke it down with my videos, right? Talked about it. Okay, this is what they're doing, guys. So again, the Beast receipts for them, check out, right? Not mine. They're there. That's them, But again, you have to know to look for when posting these videos up, these practice videos, and then talking about it. That's what makes it so different is like, look, you can run a tip drill, but what's the point of the tip drill, right? What is the point of the tip drill? What's the point of what's the why behind the what, right? And so that's what I try to explain is like, okay, in great detail, again, because the coaches' receipts need to check out too, right? And they did, but people were saying, oh no, it's Coach Graham. They're undisciplined. It's all Coach Graham's fault. It's Coach McDaniels. No, it's not. Stop. Juan says, found Beast when he was a guest on Sanjit's YouTube channel. Been following him ever since. Thank you so much, man. And yeah, if you guys want me on Sanjit's channel, holler at him. Let him know. Let him know. Ryan Rango says, same. I found Beast when he was a guest on Sanjit's channel. And as soon as I heard you were a Raiders beat writer and heard your extended football knowledge, I was a fan. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And then, like I said, I just like to bring a different flavor to the table. Not better or worse, just different. And for me, Always, ever since with the Niners, always comes back to watching film, right? And again, I don't have to do that, but I do choose to do it because, again, one, I have year-end voting rights for Pro Football Writers Association. I have a vote. Like when I vote for first team All Pro, All Rookie team, right? When I voted for Max Crosby as a first team All Pro, even though he didn't get it, you guys know how I felt some type of way when I grade the snap, not the box score, because Max Crosby should have been an All Pro first team. He got my vote for PFWA. Again, this is how I like to do it. I like to take the time and watch the film. So Max Crosby, he got snubbed. He's not wrong. He should have been a first team All Pro. I got the grades on the other edge rushers who got in. Not as good as Max Crosby. Trust me on this. James shows says drafting Aiden O'Connell over the other available quarterbacks say a lot about McDaniels not valuing the mobile scramble ability for quarterbacks. Maybe. I don't know. I suck with quarterback evaluations. I just talked about evaluations, and one thing that I will say that Breach Receipt does not check out is the quarterback situations. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know. Maybe. Oh my gosh. All right. We've been on for an hour and 11 minutes and 15 seconds. If you like what I have to say, please give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you'd like to support through a super chat or super sticker like so many have already, thank you so much. I just want to give a special shout out to those people because, again, wouldn't be here without all of you guys in my corner. So let's give a special shout out to Psycho Jackal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And no San Diego State Aztecs were drafted. Rocker Corey, thank you so much. He says, who's your surprise cut and pick up before the kickoff? Rocker Corey, I will go ahead and answer that. And you've been down from day one, but I'm not sidestepping you, my guy. I just don't like having a beast receipt on something I know nothing about because I haven't seen training camp yet. I think it's unfair. I would feel some type of way if someone had that opinion about me without me going through a training camp. So I have the respect of the player, and I want to be able to give that player the respect. And again, we won't know until I watch training camp, OTAs, and everything in between. Daniel Kim, thank you so much for your super chat. He says, for the grind for always representing the nation strong. All right. So again, we've been on for an hour and 12 minutes and 22 seconds. Really, really appreciate it. Let me just get this. Brent is on here. Brent, thank you so much. He sent me something on Venmo. Don't know what it is yet. Oh, he wants to be friends with me. Let's be friends. Let's be friends on Venmo. Let's do that. All right, and you guys can find me on Venmo at Beast Rider. You guys see that right here. Oh, no, you can't because there's a banner there. Let me just remove that banner so you guys can see it. Yeah, if you guys want to send a Venmo donation like so many other people have done so before, like Kelly Joseph and a few other you guys can do so. And again, just go ahead and add me as a friend so you know it's me. Michael Flinko, special shout out to you. You just sent me a Venmo donation as well. So yeah, we're getting a lot of Venmo donations in here. So great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Brent, I just went ahead and added you in, my guy. All right, so a lot of cool things that we can talk about, right? I think people who are telling the nation that the Raiders did a bad how do I say this nicely? So there's some people out there who said the Raiders had a bad draft. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but I don't think so. I think they actually had a solid draft. So yeah. I don't think necessarily that they had a bad draft. Now, again, to each their own, right? But I don't think so. Look, this draft wasn't very top heavy to begin with. I only had 16 round one grades going into it. And GM Dave Ziegler, I read somewhere that he only had 15 round one grades, something like that. Maybe he had 16. I don't know what that number is, but it was definitely not more than 17. So yeah, I mean, when you run the film, you can kind of see this, right? And so again, thank you so much, Brent. I appreciate it for the super chat. For the Venmo donation, actually. Thank you so much. Got the notification right here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Got the notification. You guys heard that? Thank you so much, Brent. Appreciate it. Means a lot. Just want to read what you had to say, my guy. Because again, I thank you. Okay, let me just see here. See if you had a question or something. Some of you guys leave questions in here as well for me. Oh, okay. He says, I'm Rev on YouTube. Respect the grind, bro. Keep doing what you do. Thank you so much, man. What's up? And mahalo for tuning in, my guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about what you guys think. What grade would you give the Raiders? Like for me, you guys want my grades. I get it, but I can't do that until I watch the film. But I want to know what you guys think. Just drop it in the description box, right? In the comment section. Not the description box. In the comment section. Drop your comments. Just be, hey, what grade would you give the Raiders on this draft class? I want to know from you guys. Because you guys have a voice too. And look, we don't know who's right or who's wrong. I mean, there's some people saying, I'm going to reserve to say, draft grades or this and that until 5 years. Nah, man, come on. Let's be 100 with the receipts. Some people don't like to do that, right? But don't throw shade at me for doing it. I like calling myself out, man. I'm not afraid to do it. I just did with Trayvon Merrick. I thought I was going to be a Pro Bowl player. But we did know that Paris Johnson would have been the guy at number 7. But Monty Ossenfort went from 3 to 12, from 12 to 6 to leapfrog the Raiders because they knew Dave Ziegler was definitely targeting him. And Peter King was in that war room and basically said that. But hey, they weren't targeting an offensive lineman. Thank you, Mac Teddy, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Edgar Bonilla says, can't give grades. And by the way, Mac Teddy, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. You're always in here, by the way. And you're probably one of the newer ones, right? Or how long have you been following me? And is it Mac Teddy? Am I saying it right? Mac Teddy or Mac T Ty? How do you pronounce your name? Because I want to get it right. Because I don't like when people butcher my last name and they'd be like, how do you say your last name? Ryan Sock. My last name is butchered to the moon. Like it's Sakamoto, right? Ryan Sakamoto. I have Ryan Sakamoto. I had Ryan Sacramento. Literally, I don't know how you went from Sacramento to Sakamoto. At least get some of the, I don't know. But he's like, hey, we're live with Ryan Sacramento. I'm like, wait, are we in Sacramento? Or I don't understand. I was like, right before I was like, wait, did I hear that right? Wait, did he just mess up my last name? Or is he reporting live from Sacramento? I was kind of like, oh. And truth be told, long story short, this is funny. Some guy on air it was a call-in show, his name was Ryan Sacramento. So maybe they got that confused. Jeffrey T, thank you so much. He says, B+ would give it an A- if there was more clarity on Wilson's foot injury. Yeah, I'm concerned with the foot. Rev Raider, thank you so much for tuning in. This is my guy Brent. Mahalo for the Venmo donation that you just sent me. Says a cautious B grade. I didn't feel like they were reaching. Definitely felt like they stuck to their plan. I can respect. You know what, Rev? I agree with you 110%. I do. I agree with you 100,000%. I think they stuck to. This is what I said from Raiders headquarters, right? Right after day one, I said, look, it doesn't matter what I think or anyone else thinks. They're not going to listen to the noise, which is a good thing. I talked about this the day before the draft. I said, if they stick to their board, whether I agree with it or not, ultimately GM Dave Ziegler has to live and die with those results. And he stuck to his board. So in my opinion, did they reach for Tyree Wilson? No, they didn't reach for him because they saw a higher potential guy. But again, it's been reported that I disagree with this. But again, I'm not saying that it's not true, right? There's been a report that says that Will Anderson was not ranked higher on their board than Tyree Wilson. And I find that very, very hard to believe when grading the snap, not the box score. Because now you're banking on a guy's NFL traits and potential rather than what you see on film. And again, the speed to power conversion that you see on a fundamentally sound time for time or pound for pound time. Look, to me, it's Will Anderson number one. Now, again, was I in that war room? No. So I don't know. But it's been reported that Tyree Wilson was higher rated on the board over Will Anderson, which, by the way, that could be true too. Like, but I'm saying if I had to take a guess, I think that's more smoke than the actual truth. But I don't know. Maybe it wasn't smoke. It's not like I was in the war room. I just think there's no way you can have Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson. Like, in hindsight, right? This is in hindsight. So in hindsight, obviously, you can say whatever you want because the players have been selected already. So you can say, again, happened with the Niners, right? At number 7 with DeForest Buckner. Oh, we wanted DeForest Buckner over Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa. Someone in the war room told me differently a year later. So again, you really don't know. You really don't know. Not you specifically, but again, and what people report, that's what they're hearing. So it's not saying that they're not credible or they're not saying what they're being told as fact. Because again, I don't know. I believe them. Why would I not believe them, right? If someone who's, now all these content creators or content stealers like to steal work from beat writers and then call it, then I would kind of disagree with that. But if it's coming from a beat writer perspective, more times than not, it's the beast receipt on their receipts are going to check out. So I'm in line with the beat writer. If he says, hey, look, Tyree Wilson was higher rated on their board, I take his word for it as fact. So maybe they did have him higher rated on their board. But for me, I can only speak for myself. I don't think on most teams' boards that Tyree Wilson was higher rated than Will Anderson on their board. Makes sense? But to each their own, right? Everyone is entitled to their own opinion on who they think is better. But to me, it's not even a question. Like, it's not even a question. Now, if you were to ask me who has the higher ceiling of the two players, yeah, no question, Tyree Wilson, because you can't have a 35 and 5/8 arm length. Like, it's 6'6". I mean, the guy is big. Jack says, you love the offensive tackle from Northwestern in Peter Skoronsky. Beast receipts. Yup. Just had to bust your balls. My wife is Japanese. Hey, man, I was on the Peter Skoronsky train. Look, this is what I did, right? I had people on the Peter Skoronsky train because I thought they were going to draft Peter Skoronsky. And I was like, man, it makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. He's very versatile. If you want the best 5, you got to get Peter Skoronsky. And he was high on their board. I know that for a fact. Check this out. What did I do the day of the draft? I had people on the Peter Skoronsky train and everyone talking Peter Skoronsky because he was higher on the board. I mean, it wasn't like nothing that I didn't think was going to happen because that's a possibility. But then I switched my pick to another offensive lineman in Paris Johnson Jr. on draft day. So again, you want to see the why behind the what, right? And then again, the Eagles trade, right? Made sense. I thought Howie Roseman was going to trade up for Jalen Carter. He did. So how did we know that a conversation did not take place with GM Dave Ziegler for pick number 7? Even though they struck a deal at number 9, because both those guys wanted an offensive lineman off, once Devin Wilson was off the board. We don't know. Write that down. But yeah, I was on the Peter Skoronsky train, man. I still love me some Peter Skoronsky. But I thought it was going to be Paris Johnson on draft day. And Peter King said that was, the higher rated offense tackle, and they're looking to draft Paris Johnson. If you didn't see the Peter King report that was timestamped in that war room, go check it out. That's pretty cool stuff by Peter King. Pretty cool stuff by Peter King. Great guy, great person. Obviously, one of the best ever. Definitely a legend. All right, there's 35 of you guys watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say and like what I have to bring to the table to the Raider Nation. Jack Hanna says, Anderson has a higher floor. Tyree has a higher ceiling. That is very true. I would rather have Will Anderson, maybe because I'm an old Tyrell fan. I don't know. No, it's not. It's because I watched the film. On film, if I had the number one overall pick, or if I had my choice of, sorry, not number one, but if both players were so happened to be on the board, which hypothetically, obviously didn't happen, but let's say that was a scenario and I had my choice of the litter between who I want as my number one edge rusher off the board, I would definitely take Will Anderson. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. I'd be like, nah, man, it's not a question. Like, this is non-negotiable. Like, we're taking Will Anderson. We're taking Will Anderson. We're taking Will Anderson. We're taking Will Anderson, dude. Bro, what are we doing? We're taking Will Anderson. That's not to say I don't like Tyree Wilson. Look, Will Anderson's a generational talent. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, he's the next Von Miller. Said that since day one. That's my comparison. You don't want to make comparisons? Nah, man. Everybody makes comparisons. Jim Harbaugh would always say, I never want to compare players because I diminish the value of the player that I'm comparing that person with or that player with. But at the end of the day, everyone makes comparisons. I remember Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke literally said he doesn't make comparisons when it comes to drafting players. And then he spoke to us, and then he literally compared, what was it, Alden Smith to Javon Curse. I was like, wait, didn't I remember him saying he don't compare players during the draft? If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he said that. But we don't compare players. But everyone's compared. Who does this guy remind you of, right? Scouts always say, who does this guy remind you of? Oh, that's a comparison. That is a comparison. Why? Why? Because you're projecting how this player's NFL career is on the trajectory and where you see him being based on how he's being coached up for the foreseeable future in your program. All right. Oh, man. We've been on for an hour and 26 minutes and 55 seconds. Hit this like button if you guys like what I have to say. Also, we're trying to hit the road to 10K subscribers. How do we do that? Well, you guys got to be liking the comment, liking the engagement, liking the video, and then also engaging with me, asking me questions. I think this is very educational. I want to learn something from you as you do for me, and I do every single video I do. Every single video that I put up, I learned something from you, and it's great. I learned something. I want to go to sleep at night knowing I didn't learn one dang thing. I want to learn at least something from you guys, and I always do. And it's definitely more than one, for sure. Tan Jiang says, do you think Houston gave up too much value to move up for Anderson? No, I don't, because he's a generational talent. And I told you guys, that base receipt checked out. I said they're high on D'Amico Ryans. I'm high on D'Amico Ryans. I told you guys what I thought about D'Amico Ryans, having covered him in San Francisco. I said, definitely they're going to get Will Anderson in some way, shape, or form. They did. They did. Ultimately, the base receipt said I was going to have him selected at 2. I didn't think that they were going to pull the rabbit out of the hat and trade up to 3 to get him. But ultimately, that's what it would take if they went CJ Stroud at number 2 and then rolled back and then took Will Anderson at number 3, obviously. Right? Because if you're sitting there at 4, do you think that GM Chris Ballard's actually not going to take Will Anderson, even though he has a need for a quarterback? Potentially. But let's see how that played out. If GM Monty Ossenfort from the Arizona Cardinals stayed at 3, didn't move back to 12 with the Houston Texans, what does that look like? Right? Again, people want to throw shade at how the Raiders were not looking at offensive tackle, but when you peel back layers of the onion to get to the core on the dynamics of the why behind why these moves were made in real time, you would know. Obviously, Paris Johnson was going to come off the board in the first 7 picks. Let me write this down. Arkham Raider says, Beast, I believe Mayer establishes himself as a tight end 1 by the first preseason game. Your thoughts? Oh, he's already the entrenched starter. It's not even a question. He's already the starter for me. I watched enough game film from him. You guys know how I felt about him. I thought the Raiders may move back in the tail end of round 1 in that 28 to 32 range, maybe striking a deal with the New Orleans Saints and GM Mickey Loomis and going ahead and get this player. Literally said that, right? I said, don't be surprised if the Raiders end up with multiple round 1 picks based on the draft ammo that they have, because this is not a very top-heavy draft. And every year, these teams reach for need, diminishing the value of picks, and these valuation on these players' grades become forthcoming based on letting the board talk to you. Because, again, you're looking at it and saying, man, I don't have Dalton Kincaid as my number 1 tight end. I have Michael Mayer. If he somehow falls to the later half of the tail end of round 1, that's when you see these GMs scrambling and rambling, trying to get that player because they know they're not going to last on the first pick of day 2. Come on, someone talk to me. Kima from Kalihi says, how's it, brother? What's going on? I thought draft was good. Rather have Carter, but I'm good with Mayer, Jakorian, Smith, and Nesta. You know what, dude? All my family, and shout out to Patricia, Tracy Peterson from the 808 Nation chapter for always showing the love and support. You know how we do. It's funny. All you guys wanted Jalen Carter, right? You guys know I'm in the Facebook group, right? And we're talking and stuff. And so all you guys wanted Jalen Carter. Even here in Vegas, all you guys want. I said, look, Vic is right on this. Remember I told you guys this? If you guys haven't caught, people say, oh, clowning Vic for, oh, man, Jalen Carter's not off their board. Like he's coming in for a pre-draft visit because Vinny reported it. And I said, look, Vinny Bonsignori is right because he is coming for a pre-draft visit, right? Because that's a good source. And Vinny reported that. He was the first to report that. So Vinny's right. But so was Vic. Vic was also right because when he was on the board, what did the Raiders do? They didn't draft him. So was he off their board? Probably. Why? Because you don't want to show your hand by diminishing the value of the pick by just taking a player who otherwise GM Howie Roseman from the Philadelphia Eagles, who really likes this kid and just likes to be the Georgia Eagles now, right? Or the Philadelphia Bulldogs, and draft that guy because he knows that the valuation versus evaluation of diminishing the value of the pick by taking the guy off the board during the pre-draft process is not in his best interest. You're showing your hand. Why would you want to show your hand? So before the draft took place, I said they're both right. I said they both can be right. And who ended up being right? Both of them. So the beast receipt checks out. And people are like, oh, but is anyone giving Vic, oh, I'm sorry, you know, that I said, come on. And I said Vic wouldn't be in the position he is in if he didn't have a strong source of what he was hearing and seeing. Right? Right? Let's just keep it 100. And Vinny also is a good source of information too. So why can't they both be right? Ended up they're both being right. Chemo says, I'd give a B right now. Hope I'm wrong and they give up. I'd give it a B minus. Sorry. I didn't see the minus there. Edgar Bonilla says, no way Anderson is Von Miller 2.0. Okay, keep the receipt. So there's no way that he's a Von Miller. Keep the receipt, Edgar. And call me out when I get it wrong. Keep the receipt. We'll circle back to this in 5 years, and then we'll see the trajectory of where they're at, right? And again, I know how DeMeco Ryans likes to run his defense. I know how he likes to use those edge rushers, and I followed, obviously, Will Anderson since his true freshman year, covering the Alabama Roll Tide role for Hot Mike, right? So we'll see. Keep the receipt. You could be right, or you could be wrong. I could be right, or I could be wrong. That's what makes it so fun, right? So no way. You're saying no way. He can't even sniff. He can't even come close. This is right, Edgar. You're saying no way. He's Von Miller 2.0. No way. By no way, you're seeing that he's not even on. He's not even close. So what would you compare a Will Anderson to? Again, grade the snap, knock the ball score. Where would you grade him at? Like, would you put him at, like, let's say, if we're talking about, comparisons, who would you compare him to, Edgar? My comp is Von Miller. That beast receipt is already timestamped and labeled. Who do you compare him to? I want to know. And we'll keep the receipts and we'll circle back to this. I think it's good. I think it's good because it holds everyone in here accountable for their actions and what they say and what they do, including myself, right? Including myself. I like being held accountable for what I say too. That's why you guys follow me, because you guys like it when I call myself out. I think it's hilarious. But it's rare, but it happens. Chemo says, yep, Peterson is an OG. Jack says, great show, Beast. Glad you answer questions. I will post Beast recipes. I like the Beast. I get you saying Beast receipts, but you can say recipes as well. Let's cook up the Beast recipe now. That's legit. And challenge you as an old man and Raiders fan from 1975. Keep grinding, brother. Dang, you're a fan from 1975, bro. That is what's up. And you know who else follows me? Coach Tom Flores' family. They're part of here, the DOB here. Keep in touch with them on a weekly basis. Look, they followed me for my game film analysis and breakdowns and X's. They call me the X's and O's guy, literally. So that's how they found me, from my press conference questions and also how I break down the X's and O's and stuff. So apparently I'm doing a good job. And so Coach Flores' family like what I bring to the table. So I'm glad that they're in my corner, and got to meet them. Got to meet them at Allegiant Stadium. And they said, "Hey, Beast, like, what's going on? Just want to say you're doing a great job, and like your questions at the pressers." And so, yeah, I talk to them on a weekly basis for sure. Arkham Raider, which, by the way, I have to get in touch with them because their Coach Flores' grandson plays football. Arkham Raider says, Beast, Andre James is nearing the end of his deal. Do you see him getting re-signed or getting a young player next year? I like James as a cheaper option. Oh my gosh, Arkham Raider, this is a loaded question. I don't think. Oh man, this is tough. Can we wait to see how the year plays out first? I like Andre James. I hope he gets re-signed. Let's leave it at that. But let's see how the year plays out. I mean, we're forecasting the future, and although I like to do that, it's unfair to say if James is going to get re-signed or if he's going to go somewhere else or whatever the case may be. Let's wait a little bit on that one. And by the way, I like Andre James. Kimo from Kali says, Alabama is my college team. I always want us to draft Bama players. If I'm being 100, I got Anderson as a Joey Bosa type player, not 2-5 defensive end, maybe top 10. Okay. So you see him as a Joey Bosa. I see him more as a Von Miller. One, and that comes down to run fit integrity and run support. And then also on top of that, what I see in Von Miller's game, it translates to what I saw in Will Anderson's game coming out of college. Joey Bosa, to me, gives it too much run fit integrity. Like, he just pins his ears back and is not very sound as run fits. There's a lot of different layers to that, right? Based on down and distance. Obviously, if it's an obvious passing situation and you see the quarterback scrambling to a spot because he knows that Joey Bosa is running the arc and he has a spy in front of him in a cover one, obviously it's up to that spy defender to go ahead and make a play on the quarterback if he's fast enough. We see it all the time, right? What am I talking about? Different types of cover one shells. But I see the next Von Miller. He's the best edge rusher to come out of Alabama since Derek Thomas. My opinion, though. I watch me be wrong. Watch him be a Joey Bosa. Keep the receipt, bro. Chemo from Kali says, I think Will is like Con because of the bend. I just don't see him being as disruptor as Von Miller. That's some huge shoes to fill. It is, but that's what makes these comparisons so fun, right? So again, man, I like Will Anderson a lot. I just think in that wide 9 scheme that the 49ers like to use, and now the Texans are going to be using, watch out. Von Miller. See, I'm confusing the players now. Will Anderson should probably have around, if he stays healthy, of course, right? All things created equal. Same thing with Tyree Wilson. He should have anywhere between, gosh, there's so many holes on that defensive. Can the coverage on the back end hold up? Is there going to be some coverage sacks there? I'm debating this. I'm looking at maybe 9.5, 10 sacks his rookie year, if not more. That's good. Mahalo for the convo, brother. Time to cook dinner for the much all go Raiders. Amen. All right, man. Take care of that. Take care of that, my guy. All right, so we've been on for a while now. If you'd like to send me a super chat or super sticker, please be sure to do so. All right, and also, if you want to show the love and support, like so many others have already done so, you guys can send me a super chat or super sticker, or in the description box. In the description box below, there is a link to my Venmo account, and like Brent did earlier, you guys can go ahead and send me a Venmo donation. 37 of us watching right now. Give this video a thumbs up. I'm just going to look at the analytics while you guys do that. 72 likes on here. So let's wait a little bit. I'm going to take a break. Give this video a thumbs up. I'm just going to take a little break right now. I'm going to hop on a live stream. We're on the live stream. I'm going to hop off in a little bit and then just put this up right now. So stick with me. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. We haven't done this. I want to stay on, but I have to run to the bathroom. Your boy got to take a pee. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to put a 5-minute ticker up and we'll be hopping back on. This is the halftime show, as you want to say it or call it. All right, we are back. How's everything on my audio? Is it good? Oh, man. Daniel Kim says, is Venmo or PayPal better with regards to fees? I think Venmo's better. If you just send it, if we become friends and you can send it that way, that's cool too. But yeah, no, Venmo is definitely the way to go. But I have PayPal too, same thing. But yeah, Venmo's the way to go. If I had to choose one or the other. All right, so let's just go ahead and look at, man. Jack Hanna says, Beast, you wanted Peter Skoronsky. Who's Paul S? But I think you meant Peter Skoronsky. I know what you're saying, brother. Yes, I wanted Peter Skoronsky, but it's not what I want. It's how I actually saw the draft playing out. In fact, on draft day, I said what? I switched. If you follow me on Twitter, what did you guys say? I said I had people on the Peter Skoronsky train, rolled back into the Philadelphia Eagles straight up, and then what happened? Stayed pat, select Paris Johnson at number 7 once Devin Witherspoon was off the board. Saturday, the Beast Receipt checks out on Twitter. Not for sure if you follow me on Twitter, posted it up there. Everything's time-stamped and everything. So Paris Johnson was my official pick. Let me write this down. Why did we do that? Because let me write this down. People being all over that. And then they're like, oh man, we thought it was Peter Skoronsky. Daniel Kim says, I can see Pari moving to center if our O-line acquisition's working out and kicking our line shifting around. Especially our new UDFA pickup. He's mountain of a man. I can see that too. Rev says, Venmo definitely better for the content creators. YouTube can't take a big chunk. That is very true. That is very true. YouTube takes, I think, 30% of all the super chats. So if you send me like a $5 super chat, I think it's 30%. I think they take 30%. They might take more actually. Is it 30%? I don't know. Something like that. But thank you so much, Rev Raider, for the Venmo donation. I appreciate it, Brent. You are the man. And welcome to the Dark Side of Beast Rider. Welcome to the Dark Side of Beast Rider family, man. Like, you're part of the family. Everyone in here who subscribes to the channel, turns on the bell notifications here on YouTube, you guys are part of the DOB family. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to 10K. How do we get to 10K? I'm asking for your guys' support. So if it's with a like, if it's with a comment, if it's with a super chat, super sticker, Venmo donation, all that, again, gets funneled back here to the DOB family here on YouTube. So again, everyone's on social media. Share all my videos. Be like, hey, man, this guy is just not a quote unquote content creator. He's not. He is a beast rider, hence beat writer, that covers a lot the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, he literally covers as one of the beat writers on the team. And I'm coming from the San Francisco 49ers. So again, people are going to want to follow me just for that exclusive insider access coverage, right? Because again, how many people can say I'm a beat writer for the Las Vegas Raiders? Not very many. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it playing out. Jack says, no way Peter Skoronsky is worth a Tyree, timestamped and labeled you talking facts 100. Jeffrey says, YouTube accounting analysis. Let me write that down. Yeah, I don't know what the percentage is, like, but I know they take a pretty big percentage off the super chat and super stickers. And you know what's funny is, I know on Twitter, Elon Musk, I have subscribers now on Twitter that you can pay for. It's subscription based, right? And apparently there's like a rule saying that Elon Musk will not take any cut of the Twitter subscriptions that I get for the first 12 months. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But then what happens after the first 12 months? Like, what happens with all those subscribers? And it's like, oh man, now we're taking. So I don't know how that's going to work. So that's why I just say Venmo's the easiest way to go. Or YouTube. You send me a super chat or super sticker. It's good stuff. Either way, it definitely helps me out. A little goes a long way. And some people were actually sending me 99-cent super chats and like, oh man, sorry, I want to support. But, you know, I was like, dude, you don't have to support through money. Like, a like and engaging is just as important. I know times are tough, you know, but if you can, yeah, definitely help out. He's like, oh yeah. And so he sent me like a 99-cent super chat. It's like, hey man, that shows more to me than anything. I mean, a little goes a long way. And so like, it doesn't even matter, right? About the money. Like, I'm not going to be like, okay, guys, I am not going to answer any more questions until I get a super chat. And just be like this. Like, what are we doing? As Julian Edelman would say. I said that on draft day. When the 49ers drafted, was it Jake Moody from Michigan, the kicker, in the 3rd round? And I was like, what are we doing? And then Paul's like, what do you mean we? Because, you know, we both covered from the Niners. But I don't think he got the reference that Julian Edelman says it on Inside the NFL. And, of course, as you guys know, Inside the NFL, we follow each other on social media. So And Julian Edelman's from the Bay. So it was funny because he thought I was mentioning the Niners as in what are we doing because they were on the board. So, but it was really the Julian Edelman thing. What are we doing on Inside the NFL on Paramount Plus? Not a sponsored post, but hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? As Julian Edelman would say, what are we doing? Taking kicker at third round. Robbie Gould is no longer in San Francisco. All right. There's 29 of you guys watching right now. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. And also leave your questions. We have 72 likes right now. Let's get those likes up a little bit if you're just tuning in. And we'll go ahead and answer some more of your questions after we get those likes up. So I'm watching right now, and let's get those likes up a little bit. And we can go ahead and continue. Jack Kenneth says, Beast, we are only one nation. Give a shout out to Raiders Ray and Pharaoh. Raider Ray, Pharaoh. They do really good work. And if you like what they have to bring to the table, go ahead and shoot them a follow. Absolutely. Daniel Kim says, I respect the fact that B speaks with insider knowledge and real football insight from watching the tape. It adds honest and true in-depth to his opinions. Everyone brings their flavor, though. That is very, very true. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Niner fans know this, right? They know what I bring to the table from this standpoint. And I just want to, I got another Venmo donation. Thank you so much to, sorry, I'm trying to pronounce, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. So I'm not going to try to butcher it. So I apologize. But Kent, thank you so much, Kent. I appreciate it. Yeah, Venmo donations work. All right. So getting back to your question, yeah, I think everyone provides great analysis, like in their own way, right? Like every beat writer puts in the work, right? Every beat writer does hard work and puts in the work, and everybody adds their own flavor to the table. I think that's what makes a strong beat very, very good. You know, if it's a strong beat, is you have different flavors, like Vinny and Vic and PG, they have strong sources, right? So when they say something, odds are it's facts, like, right? That's why I said Vinny can be right and Vic can be right. Why can't they both be right? And so, and then you obviously you have other people who bring their own flavor. Like Tashawn's very young, but he's really good at what he does, right? And so you have Adam Hill, the Review Journal. All those people do a really good job at what they do. Case does a good job at what he does. So everyone does a really good job at what they do. Hondo does a good job at what he does. So everyone has their own flavor of how they like to do business, and it's just I just like to how do I say this? I just like to thank you guys for allowing me, because again, it's just a different flavor, right? When I ask a question at the press conference, and how you guys all found me really, is from asking questions as to the why. We know the what, right? Like Tyree Wilson has a strong work ethic, but what's the why behind why they drafted him, right? And like you're gonna want to know, and for me, it always comes back to game film. You're gonna want to know what makes him tick. Where do you get that from? Like, where does that want to come from, right? When I asked, who was I talking to right after he was drafted? I forgot. I was talking to somebody. I said, where does that want to come from to want to be the best? Or, oh no, it's Trey Tucker. Where do you get that want to going across the middle, knowing that you basically can get your head taken off at any given point? And he talked about his wrestling background. Daniel Kent says, more of the nation definitely needs to know hashtag road to 10K. Road to 10K. Jack Kent says, with Trucker, it's Trey Tucker. With Trey Tucker being drafted, does Hunter Renfrow get traded? I mean, I think it's funny, right? And I went and the answer to this is, would it be surprising if he did? I mean, look at how many wide receivers are there now. Like, would it be surprising to anyone if he did? And I think the answer is no. But will it happen? I'm not going to report saying that he's on the trade block because I haven't heard anything, and I haven't, and I don't report on stuff that I don't know, right? Like, I'm not going to do that. So, and what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, right? So I'm to answer your question. Hold on, just put this over here. What is that? To answer your question, no. I know you're like, what is he doing? Like, there's like all these weird, like, I swear to you, in Vegas, there's like weird, like, insects that come into your house. And I don't know what this is. I think I just killed, like, what is that? It's definitely not a spider. What? I've never seen anything like that. I kind of want to pick it up with my hands and show you guys. What is that? Anyways, sorry, like my hand. Like, let me just get a nap. Where's the napkins at? Jeez Louise, that's gross. I don't know what the heck this thing was. Anyways, but no, it could happen. It could happen. All right. So look, there's different things we can talk about. And obviously, we talked about Christopher Smith and what he brings to the table. I just want to give a special shout out to those that sent me super chats on this live stream. We've been on for 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 12 seconds. If you guys would like to send me a donation through a super chat or super sticker, or just want to be heard and given a shout out, let me know, and I'll answer those questions first before anyone else. But I'll get to everyone's questions regardless. Thank you so much, Psycho Jackal. I appreciate it. Rocker Corey in the house. Thank you so much for your super chat. We're going to have to wait till training camp to answer that question. DK, thank you for the grind and always represent the nation strong. And of course, Mac Teddy, thank you so much for your super chat. Always love talking to you guys. All right. So again, Space Chimp is in the house. He said, we'll get to 10K. I have no doubt sooner or later, fans will get tired of clickbait and uninformed speculation. There's a lot of clickbait stuff. And again, I think like again, everyone brings their own flavor. But like for me, I only have so many hours in a day because again, this is not all I do, right? I don't just watch film 67 hours a day and then also put up the daily reporting and grind when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders and all that. I also bodybuild. That takes like at least 4 to 6 hours of my day, right? I also have to work on my other things that I got going on, like personal training, online coaching. So I got that going on. And then also I have a clothing line business, right? Bay Area Rooted LLC. So, I mean, there's so many different layers to this. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? I do a lot. I basically have 3 full-time jobs. That's already 24 hours. 8 times 3 is 24. Right? That'd be funny if I said 8 times 3 is 24 and people are like, nah, man, like it's not 24. And by the way, if you want to support Bay Area Rooted, let me know. I still have inventory in here. We just placed a new order of inventory. So we have cropped hoodies. I know it's cold back in the Bay Area. We have beanies, we have hats, we have pullovers, hooded sweatshirts, everything made and designed here in the USA. So again, we work with the small mom and pop shops, and we do that for a reason. It's because I'm a small mom and pop shop, so I want to go ahead and give back to those because times are tough. All right, times ever since COVID hit, times are tough for everyone. All right, and it's still times are tough. Like, let's not lie about that. Times are tough for everyone, but yeah. Dan Kim says facts, Space Chimp, appreciate it. All right, so we've been on 1 hour and 58 minutes and 42 seconds. 24 of you guys watching this video, give this video a thumbs up on your way out. We're going to go ahead and close out this live stream. I hope you guys learned something on Christopher Smith and Jakorian Bennett and why I like both players. I give Jakorian Bennett a C. I'm going to give Christopher Smith an A just because on the valuation versus evaluation of where they got him and based on how I see his role in the foreseeable future, when we evaluate the instant gratification versus long-term gains, you can see Christopher Smith being a long-term potential answer on the back end of that defense. So again, thank you everyone for tuning into this live stream. As you guys know, we always bring the heat here in the DOB, and our line of thinking is the road to 10K. How do we get to 10K? Well, talk about it, nation. Talk about the DOB fam here on YouTube and let them know about what we bring to the table as we bring a fresh beat writer perspective found nowhere else on the web. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night. Beast Rider out.